Hello, everyone. We are back. The show is called TBR, a double SF show. It simply means TBR Solution Sports Forum. It is myself, the Sobre Boys, Wale Fasi. I'm all by myself, but guess what? I'm with you. The Gaufela, Sisonke, Onse Sam Remoho. We are together, Rotle, Singwe. The beat goes on. Um, we know that there were games during the week, and then there are games this week. Yeah, I don't know. Let me say, the month of April and May, largely in soccer football, those are the 2 months that are very important. It's a crunch time, whether here or Europe. Here we know that now we are fighting for the championship, who's going to win the league, especially in April and May. And then also in Europe, the Champions League is very important. And not only that, even the league. Moreover, 2026, it's very exciting. It's going to be very exciting because after all those dramas, come June, we have the Soccer World Cup 2026 happening in America. So this is a very humdinger month. And then everybody, we are glued on our television. People are going to the stadium. It's very, very exciting. Now, let's start here. Pirates have played a 2-2 draw. I'm sure you're aware of that. They've played a 2-2 draw. I don't know what is the meaning of that. So probably, what does that mean? And then for them to play a draw, was this a silver platter? Was Pirates handing over a silver platter to Mamelodi Sundowns? In other words, do you think that the race is over now? Mamelodi Sundowns is going to run away with the league. And then I looked at the news from various sectors, from various sources. I heard Rivero, former Orlando Pirates coach, saying the league in most cases is won by the team that has about 60 points. I don't know whether you agree with that or not. So we'll watch and see. Do your maths or do your history, go back and check. All right. We know that the games have been played the past week. All right. Whereby Pirates has beaten Golden Arrows 5-0. There are a lot of rumors. People are saying, no, it was a setup. It's an allegation. It was a setup. Sundown, Arrows wanted to give Pirates a game. I don't know, but when I watched the game, they were playing seriously. I think Arrows wanted to win a game, and then Pirates really stamped its authority in that game. We saw that Mamelodi Sundowns continued their form. They won 1-0 against Durban City. As you can see, the results as I'm showing there. Your Magesi, they've won against Marumo Gallants 3-0. Chipa United, they also won 1-0 against Swelele. Richards Bay, they won against Stellenbosch. But we know that last night, Richards Bay and Orlando Pirates, they played a 2-2 draw. So that is why my question is, was that a handing over of the cup on a silver platter? As you can see, here is the log. If what Rivero has said, it means Sundowns need only 4 points to win the league. I'm not sure. We need to do our maths because there's still a lot of games. I think 7 games each. So yeah, we'll watch that space very closely. And then I must say, very impressed with Kaiser Chiefs. They're at number 3, although in terms of in the field of play, I'm still not yet impressed. But in terms of supporters, in terms of branding, I really what is happening there at Kaiser Chiefs. But it's good to see them that they're still at number 3, because when they're at number 3, it really, really motivates the players and everybody involved. All right. And then we are not sure what's going to happen next season. Are they going to continue with these guys, or are they going to appoint a new person to take over? There are a lot of rumors. Mangoba Mniti is in the picture. Pizzo is in the picture. There's so many people in the picture. We don't know. But also big up to 10111. He's at number 4. I'm very proud of him for him to be at number 4. All right. Skukune is always there. Skukune is one of those teams that has always been a surprise team. You know, even I mean, we know they came from the lower league, but they've been consistent for the past few years now. So we'll watch the space very closely. Now, do you think Mamelodi Sundowns are already now on the run with the league? Because get me clear, I like the way Paris play. They play a very beautiful football. In fact, Paris has more talented players than many other teams. And then watching a game of Orlando Pirates is so exciting. But my main worry with Orlando Pirates is that consistency. They lack that consistency. So I don't know whether they will continue maybe to stop the losing. Because remember, the draw means they've lost 2 points. It's not that they've lost altogether, but 2 points means a lot. But remember, this year, it's unlike the previous years, whereby by this time, the gap between Mamelodi Sundowns and number 2 would always be huge. But this time, it's not so huge. So I don't know what to take. Do you think that Pirates has already handed over the cup to Mamelodi Sundowns? And then now, let's look at Mamelodi Sundowns. You know, for the past 9 games, they've been doing well. Look, this is the streak of the wins in terms of form. Against Kukune, they won 2-0. They won 2-1 against Orlando Pirates. They won 1-0 against Amazulu, 3-1 against Kukune United. They also won against the Golden Arrows 2-1, and then 2-0 against Orbit, and then 3-1 against Marumo Gallants. All those are the wins. And then they also won 4-1 against Chipa United. And then they continued to win 1-0 against Devon City. So those are some of the things that we are looking at, that, Mamelodi Sundowns are really on form. Well, there are a lot of issues, rumors mingling around. People are saying the mere fact that Dr. Ivan Koza is the chairperson of the league, and then it disadvantage other teams like Mamelodi Sundowns. But here we have picked up the news that Mamelodi Sundowns have been requesting for a postponement, and here is the postponement of their games. Polokwane City versus Mamelodi Sundowns will now take place on the 29th of April instead of the 15th of April. And then the game is going to take place at Peter Mokaba Stadium. And then the same with Polokwane City again. There was a game that was supposed to be played. Date now will be the 3rd of May. And then 3rd of May. And then probably they were supposed to play on the 23rd of May. And the game will be played at Loftus Versfeld. Okay? So some people are saying big up to Mamelodi Sundowns for making noise about this, that there is unfair thing happening there. So I'll also be checking their remaining games and see what to take. Do you think, that is what I'm saying, do you think that Mamelodi Sundowns are already on the momentum of ensuring that they win the league this year? Or will Pirates stop that? And then, while having said that, the other thing that I want to check with you is this young man, Rele Mufokeng. The boy is good. He has got hat trick. Okay, that was his first hat trick, which is good. And then this is the player that I believe that he really deserves the number 10 jersey at Orlando Pirates. All right. Deserving the number 10 jersey at Orlando Pirates does not mean that you should compare him with Jomo Sono, because the two are incomparable. Okay. Last time when I was arguing, I say Jomo lit the house on fire at the age of 15. Rele is now 21 or 22, somewhere there. There's no comparison. Okay. And in terms of goals, there's no comparison. I hear somebody was casting some aspersions and doubts that Jomo never scored 800. I can believe that he scored those goals. Because I remember, I think I did say that one of the games, if I remember quite well, where he scored 7 goals alone against, I think it was Welcome Real Hearts, or there was Real Hearts or Hungry Lions, one in Welcome, or Mangaung United, And then the 7th goal that he scored it from the corner. And remember, during those times, statistics were not so important, not necessarily so important. I mean, the technology had not yet advanced to have, to archive all this history. All right. And then Hugo Bros has gone further to say Mufokeng is better than both Vilagazi and Chabalala. I don't know what to take. If you ask me where I'm sitting, I think I agree with him. I agree with him. Mufokeng is far better than the two. He's a better player, Mufokeng. He scores goals, not only scoring goals. He also creates goals. And then Chabalala, yes, he shows very good signs of, shining star. But his last touch for me is a problem. And then sometimes I don't see him being calm. I see him always in a rush. And then Mfundo Vilagazi really can read the game much better than Chabalala as far as I'm concerned. And then I think if he can be played right in the middle of the park, or number 10 Mfundo Vilagazi, we can see his shining star. But really is at another level. But that's my opinion. I'm sure you also have the opinion. So do you really think that Mamelodi Sundowns already are going to run away with this league? Or do you think that Pirates will sneak in and take that cup? So we just want to watch that space very closely. Who do you think will win the league this season between Mamelodi Sundowns and also between Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates? And then we'll see which one is the better. We'll just check their remaining games to see who's doing well at this point in time. And then I don't know whether you agree with Fleming Beck or Cardoso. Fleming Beck, not Fleming Beck. Whether you agree with Hugo Bros that Mufokeng is a better player compared to the other two. Yeah. But, I've always said that Pirates plays a very beautiful football. They are a team to watch, very interesting. But I don't know, they miss it just at the end. Towards the end, they always miss it, the scoring goals. Some people are saying maybe it was a mistake to let Mabasa go, all right? Because if you compare Mabasa and Wanakasisi, apparently Wanakasisi, and then Mabasa had goals. So I don't know what to take. So for me, um, yeah, they don't score goals, Orlando Pirates. Um, and then if Mufokeng wasn't there to assist them, I wonder what would have happened. Because as number 10, Mufokeng is doing so well, to assist them to 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 win. And I'll show you Mufokeng's stats. And then I think some of us are already starting to say, I think the young man deserve to be the player of the season. Okay? I don't know what to take, but I think Mufokeng will do well. I'll show you the last game, in other words, the remaining games between Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. As soon as I get that footage, I'll show you that. All right. And then, in the meantime, let me show you the form that Mufokeng is in. At the age, he has played 11 games. He has scored 9, 3 assists, and then he's doing well. Also with the national squad, we saw what he did during the Africa Cup of Nations, and I'm certain he's going to go to the World Cup. And then, there are a lot of theories. One may say maybe the boy should leave. But if you ask me where I'm coming from, I would say let the boy stay at Orlando Pirates because he stands a better chance of, building a very good brand for himself if he stays at Orlando Pirates a little bit longer. What Pirates should do, Pirates should pay him more. They should pay him more because the more they pay him, so there will be no need for him to go overseas. And then I've made this example before. I said, look at Doc Khumalo. He played in South Africa the larger part of his career, and now he's a bigger brand compared to many other people even who went overseas. If I bring Doc Khumalo and Quinton Fortune and put them here as an example, Doc has more appeal in South Africa than Quinton Fortune. And for me, if Rele can stay here, he can make Pirates blossom. And once he makes Pirates blossom, and then we will see Pirates doing well. But I don't know whether what is playing in the background too will have an impact of what is happening. Because we also hear some ramblings. I don't know whether it's true or not. These are the allegations that Fleming Berg, who is the who's the technical director at Mamelodi Sundowns, we hear that he has been suspended. All right, he has been suspended. I don't know how true is that. And then, as you can see, I got this one from Rush Sport News on X. Then he said, according to our source, Mamelodi Sundowns management placed sporting director Fleming Berg on special leave following serious allegation of interference in the team selection and substitutions. Berg also came to the game late and found club legends Surprise Muriri next to the chairman Topi Mutsepe and got upset. Berg did not know that the management was building a case against him after being accused of mistreating or being arrogant towards the workers and the club legends. In the meeting, he was told about allegation against him, and his wrongdoings. These are the allegations that he doesn't greet the guards or the people there at Sundowns Village, and then he doesn't greet the cleaners. And then if that is the case, it doesn't occur well for Fleming Berg. Doesn't really occur well. I hope he'll do better as you can see here. And then one of the allegation, and then is he doesn't greet training grounds workers at Sundowns Village. He wants all players he signed to play. Okay, and then so apparently that doesn't occur well. And then there is a rumor that he has an issue with Themba Zwane, and then that is why he's against Themba Zwane's contract being renewed. And then we know that Nuno is there already. Nuno is there at Nuno Santos is already there. And then we are told, according to these reports, he's also against the renewal, the contract renewal of Peter Shaulile. That is why Brian Leon has been brought on board. Remember, Brian Leon scored one of the craziest goals. It was a beautiful goal from one side, and what a beautiful goal. And then I think that goal will be one of the goal that will go in history. That was scored by him. He sold Mamelodi Sundowns feeder team called M Tigers, which competed in the Gauteng ABC Motsepe League and nurtured top talents like Percy Tau, Keegan Dolly, Themba Zwane. So I don't know. So these are the rumors that we hear as far as Mamelodi Sundowns. Do you think these rumors will have an impact on the team morale? Will Sundowns be distracted by all these reports? Because you don't need this kind of reports, especially when you know very well that you need to go ahead and either win the league and also compete in the Champions League. So all these things, if they do happen, so they sometimes distract the players. The players find themselves now not knowing what to do. So we'll watch the space very closely and see what's going to happen. And then, like I said, very soon we will be watching what you call the World Cup, and then Bafana. I know people are not happy maybe with the coach, Hugo Bros. But if you ask me, this man has done well. And then we are told that his contract will be ending after World Cup. And then I saw somebody that who said he wished that he can continue. They can extend his contract. I think I'm in the same category. I feel if we can allow this guy to take over again, to continue where he is, as much as, I like Peter to sometimes to be given a chance to coach Bafana. But I think this old man is coming up, depending on him, whether he still want to continue or not. If he still want to continue, because I'm sure we can see more coming from him. So that's my opinion. Now we'll watch the space very closely. Like I said, I'm still gonna check with you or show you the remaining games of Mamelodi Sundowns and then and Orlando Pirates and see how things stand. And then because we want to see whether Pirates will win the league or Mamelodi Sundowns will run away with the league as usual. Okay, so we are looking forward to see how things are going to pan out. I'm sure Pirates fans, they want to see Pirates winning, and then also Sundowns fans, they also want to see Sundowns winning the league. So we'll watch that space very, very closely. But now let me move on to the other part of the show, which is the books. Remember, we are a financial company, and then I want to share the books with you and tell you which books you can get. Now, let me start with this one. Remember, Benny McCarthy's book is out. And then Mark Gleason penned down the book. I've spoken to him. I think very soon I'll have an interview with him pertaining to this book. And then, yeah, and I'm very happy and I'm very proud for what Benny did because I've always been propagating that thing that our life should be a motivation to others because for people to succeed is when they have enough motivation. If people don't have enough motivation, they derail. If they don't see any reason why are they leaving, they derail. So now, Benny being somebody from the Cape Flats, which we all know that is ravaged by gangsterism, drugs, and so on. So if they see somebody positive coming out of that community, yeah, it will encourage them. So, of course, it is important to write the books. Here is another one, Cream Shelele by Robert Marawa. And then here he outlined his story. Very nice book, very nice read. And then I'm sure if you can lay your hands on that book, you'll learn a lot about how things went about. Now, the other book is from us. It's called How to Get Out of Bad Debts, Use Other People's Money and Resources to Get Rich. Uh, can only get that book from us. So I just want to show you that. The other one is this one, Secrets for Becoming Rich. On this one, we have first and second edition. This one is the second edition. So it's a nice read. You can read it for yourself, and then it will change your life. Life is so difficult, you know. And as I was talking about that, I'm sure you have seen as much as I saw that not long ago we got the sad news. I don't know how true is that that Money Mayweather, it is alleged that he's bankrupt. All right, and not to say we rejoice that because we need the heroes so that the heroes can continue to motivate the up and coming, so the up and coming can see there's a reason to live. I don't know what could that be attributed to if it's true, because the way I see Money Mayweather's position, he was positioning himself to a position of saying, "I'm from a poor family, an area that was ravaged by violence, drugs, and so on. And then, but I came out of the very same environment and make a lot of money. So that is why, I think that was his mantra, his positioning, his branding, Money Mayweather. So flashing the money. So I don't know whether it was a good position to flash the money, show many Lamborghinis, or not Lamborghinis, cars in general, watches, and so on. I don't know whether the idea was to motivate and so on, or did he not check in terms of how is this money going out? Because when you deal with money, the most important thing or the skill is to how to save, because collecting money is difficult, but what is more difficult is to retain it more than collecting it. Retaining it is more difficult than anything else. That is why you find business people, they are always surrounded by a team of experts, people who know better than them, like your accountant, lawyers, and so on. And then you don't need people, your lawyer or accountant, who are listening to you. And then even if they give you an advice, you don't take their advice. You want your advice to be the one that carries the day. You want people who will be able, who will be brave enough to say, you are going out of hand, you are losing a lot of money, this is what you should do. And then try to help you to discipline money. Having said what I've just said, we as TBR, we help the people who are GPF members who wants to go on pension, especially those who are 55 years and above. Because once people get the money and then they see millions, they think that, you know what, I've received millions, so I don't need to, to do any other thing. Whereas I don't think that's a good thing. The more you have money, the skill that is more important is to see how can you save. How can you save the one that you have accumulated and ensure that at the end of the day, you don't find yourself now losing a lot of money because you were not careful enough. So it's important to have nice people surrounding you, giving you advice, and those people must be brutal. They must tell you the truth. They mustn't lie to you. They mustn't tell you what you want to hear, because if they tell you what you want to hear, then I can tell you you're not going to make any progress. You need people who will be very objective and say to you, no, no, things are not going well. This is what we should do. That is why you need those accountants and so on. Now, fortunately enough, we as TBR, we are doing financial advising, not only financial advising, we educate. And then when we talk to you about your money, we are not emotionally involved, because you are not emotionally involved, then we can help you. And those people who are pensioners, who are going on pension as GPF members, will show you how to save on penalties, because if you leave before 60, you're being penalized. And we can also show you how to save on taxation, because tax is the biggest expense. And they tax everybody, they tax even unemployed people. All right. So, and avoiding tax is legal, because when you avoid tax, you are using the tax law. But when you evade tax, that's when you're doing wrong things. Then you'll be arrested. So if you want to us to assist you, you must tell us when you know that you're about to go on pension or you want to resign. Contact us so that we can assist you right from the beginning. Don't come towards the tail end, because coming towards the tail end, it won't help. Now, having said what I've said, now let's go to Europe. We've been seeing the UEFA Champions League. They've been playing. Atletico Madrid, they've beaten Barcelona 2-0. Yo, what a game. And then Alvarez, Messi's favorite. Remember, Messi wanted this boy to join Barcelona. I don't know whether Barcelona will buy him or not. And then Soleth, they scored. They were on the score sheet. And Kubasi from Barcelona also was on the score sheet. So, no, Kubasi got a red card. So those are they lost 2-0. And then another game was PSG. PSG has won 2-0 against Liverpool. Some people are saying, hey, PSG are doing well now ever since Mbappe left. I don't know whether it has something to do with Mbappe, if you're superstitious or what, or, or what. So we don't know. We'll watch the space very closely. And then having spoken about Real Madrid, they lost 2-1. And then Luis Diaz, who's playing for Bayern Munich, and Harry Kane, they scored. And then Mbappe scored a solitary goal for Real Madrid. So we'll watch the space very closely. And then there are lots and lots of rumors. Some people are saying it looks like Real Madrid will end this year without silverware. And it's unlike Real Madrid, because we know that Real Madrid is a team that wins, especially when it comes to Champions League. That is the tournament that they are the masters when it comes to that one. So if you see them losing, then you start getting worried. What's happening? It's part of the game. So we'll watch that one very closely. And then, like I said, come February, April, May, it's a very big month in the football calendar. And all of us are looking forward to see what's happening in the football calendar. And then, yeah, let me also go to other books before I go to the Messi special. You know, I always do the Messi special. Of course, I'm gonna do another one today, and then. But before that, I'm gonna share the books, and then so that you can be able to lay your hands. Because people, as I say, reading is power. Reading is power. As you remember quite well, those who listened last week, I was saying I listened to one of my favorite Colonel Douglas McGregor from United States, the man who fought in the Desert Storm. The Desert Storm, it was that Iraq and America war, and the man who fought during the time of the fought in Pakistan, and then in Pakistan, and then so we are talking about somebody who has done well, you know, and then in one of the interviews that I listened from him, he was saying, you know, when they fight, it's not about fighting only. And then they also make sure that they let's say the enemies are running away. They want to make sure that they collect the literature, the information, whatever that is written. Because he said in that information, it will tell you what was the plans and so on. That helps you to understand what's happening. Let me share the books again. That is why I'm encouraging you to read. This one is the book called How I Turned 500 Rand into a Million Rand Business. You can do the same. This book, you also have it on Amazon as an ebook if you want it as an online book. It's a nice read. You see here, I was still having a hair, but now there's no hair now because age has catch up. Now, here's another one by Nomsa Masbogo. It's called Entrepreneur Awaken with a Drive. Very nice book. Nomsa has done well for herself in terms of business. And then if I can tell you how we met with Nomsa, he had me speaking on SAFM in 2010. I was talking about the same book that I showed you, how to get out of, I mean, how I turned 500 Rand into a million Rand business. So we've been friends ever since. That was from 2010. 2015, he invited me as a guest speaker to come and address as business people at Emalahleni. So she has also written a book. She's doing well. She's got guest houses. She's also doing a lot of community work, which is what I prefer. Here is another one by Luther Lebelo. The book is called Consciousness of Being God. Luther Lebelo he has traveled a lot, worked for SARS, he worked for a number of, you know, critical institutions, and a highly educated somebody. So maybe you can you can learn a lot if you lay your hands on Luther's book. And then yeah, there is also a book recently released by Andile Mqwitama. This one says the Gupta's family versus Stellenbosch Mafia. All right. If you want to know more about what is happening, remember the Guptas were like the story. And then there's also the story of Stellenbosch Mafia. So those are some of the news that you can learn about. We'll do the last part of the books a little bit later. But in the meantime, I think I'll be going to the Messi special. You know that all the time I always have to do the Messi special. You know, this man is breaking records after records. You know, he's I don't know what to say now. Breaking records for him. is what you call, it's a norm. It has become a norm. It becomes unusual if he doesn't break any record, because each and every game that he plays, there must be some kind of record that he breaks. He is in America now, and then being in America, we know that football there has gone to another level because of this man. Um, and then what you call, football has gone to another level because of him. The numbers of attendance have increased. The last time, I think it was last night when I was reading, I think that was last night for the game that they're playing today. They said they had already sold about 60,000 tickets, and at the stadium that takes 72,000 people. And as long as Messi plays, it flies. It flies. Now let's go to the Messi special and share what is happening. Before I go there, and then I want to remind you: do you think that Pirates will will wrestle the league away from Mamelodi Sundowns? But remember that the gap is not too huge. But my real concern is, Pirates is not consistent. That really worries me. Now let's see the records. I always talk about records. Now Messi has done 5 assists. I think that was in 2025 in one game. 5 assists before first half. No, first half, and then 5 assists. Now Son, Son Heung nearly broke that record. He also did 4 assists. Messi is always there. It's always above the rest. And you also see a number of people congratulating him. Yeah, so we'll watch that space very closely. He's the man. He's the man of the moment. That's Lionel Messi. And then guess what? The American magazine has just voted him as the best footballer of all time, beating serious name Maradona and Pele. Number one is Lionel Messi, followed by Maradona and Pele, number three. So this man is a genius. He's a genius. You'll ignore this man at your own peril, as you can see here. According to the rank, according to this magazine, the top 5 greatest player of all time, it's Messi on top, followed by Maradona, Pele, Beckenbauer, and Johan Cruyff. Beckenbauer, I think he passed on, if I'm not mistaken. If that is a case, may his soul rest in peace. Now, the guy that they always bring to the party, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, is not even in that top 5. All right, and then but that doesn't mean that Cristiano Ronaldo is not a good player. Here, as I saw Football America, this Football America, I think it's on ESPN, and then they were showing the combination of these two guys. The first time they both scored in the same game for this season, they did it 8 times last year in all competition. Suarez snaps 6 games, scoreless trick, first goal since October 11, 25 against Atlanta. That was after last week's game. Remember, Suarez scored the second goal there. Messi scored, I think, the first goal. And then Messi's 4th straight game scoring in MLS, meaning this season. And then the 3rd longest of his career. So, yeah, that's Lionel Messi. The more we talk about him, the more we realize that, no, this man, in essence, he's a genius. So, yeah. Now, I still want to check the head-to-head between Orlando Pirates in terms of the games, the remaining games. because if I'm not mistaken, want to see what's going to happen in terms of the games. Let me check. I'm still checking my things here. Bruce on Mofokeng. Yeah. Yeah, we'll watch that space very closely. I'm gonna check that thing. Whether did I save it? I'm sure I did, but it seems as if I don't see it here. To see what happened, the remaining games between Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. What's your take? Do you think Sundowns will continue to win the league, or this is the year that Pirates is going to win the league? Either way, I won't have a problem. If Pirates win, that will be good to break that monotony of Sundowns winning the league. If Sundowns win, it's still good. We want to see somebody winning 10 seasons in a row. That would be nice. But for any team that wins, for me, that's okay for me. All right. Let me check. Where is this thing? I don't see, where did I put this thing off? Pirates versus in terms of the remaining games, because I want to share that one before I leave, so that at the end of the day, and then you can make a very good comparison between the two. Will Pirates continue to win the game? The other thing that I want to ask you, do you think Rele Mofokeng has done a good case for himself to be a player of the year this year, this season? Has he done enough case for himself, or he still has to do a lot? Well, so yeah, tell me what's your take? Do you think that Rele has done enough case for himself to be considered as the player who should win the league this year? All right. Tell me what's your take. If you think Rele has done well, he deserves to be the player who should be considered as the player who should win the player of the year. What's your take? Do you think he has to win that title, or somebody else should win it? All right. Let me hear. Others will say, but if you ask me, I think the boy has done well. I wouldn't have any reservations if the boy becomes the football of the year. And another thing that I want to ask, I have already asked that one. Will you prefer that Rele should go overseas, or will you prefer that Rele should remain at Orlando Pirates, and then Pirates make sure that, instead of the boy going overseas, let him remain at Orlando Pirates. Let him remain at Orlando Pirates, and then they give him the money that he deserves. All right. So yeah, but if I was somebody who was advising him and his father, I would say, never go overseas, just remain here, and then yeah, you make your money after after you've retired. That's how I see things. So now let me check quickly for you, because I want to give you the remaining games between the two teams, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, in terms of head-to-head, the remaining games. Yeah, I've been trying to get this for you. So yeah, looks like I've got it now. And then let me show you that. Now, Sundowns, they'll be playing Polokwane City. We know that those games have been postponed, all right, away. and then they'll also play home, and they're also going to play Stellenbosch home, and then also play Richards Bay home away, and they're still going to play Kaizer Chiefs home, and Siwelele and TS Galaxy. Whereas Pirates, we know that that one of Richards Bay, that's the game that played yesterday, last night, whereby Pirates already lost 2 points. They played 2-2. They're still going to play Amazulu, and they're still going to play Kaizer Chiefs. We know that's the biggest derby in our country. And they're still going to play Stellenbosch and Magesi and Devon City and Orbit College. So those are the remaining games for both teams. So looking at these games, what does it tell you? Do you think Sundowns will win all those games, or they're going to lose some or draw some? The same with Orlando Pirates. Do you think that Pirates will win all those games, or they're going to lose some or draw some of the games? So yeah, let me hear your opinion as far as that is concerned. So yeah, we are watching that very closely. So I'm heading towards closure now. And then I want to show you some of the books before I close. And then remember, I always say I encourage you to read. So the more you read, the better. And then so I'll share the books that you can contact us, and then we share them with you, and then tell you how to get hold of the books. Now let's see. I'm gonna show you this one, the book by Dr. Darlene Small, an economist by profession. She worked for the Reserve Bank for 33 years, and then as an advisor to governors of the Reserve Bank. The last person to be advised by Dr. Darlene Small was the late Mr. Tito Mboweni. May his soul rest in peace. We'll watch the space very, very, very closely. And then the other book that I want you to get a copy for yourself is this one by Andy Lemkwitama. It is called The Blacks Can't Be Racist. So, yeah, make sure that you go out there and get the books and empower yourself. Now, thank you so much for subscribing and commenting, and we continue to ask you to do so. All right, and then we share what we know, and then and what we see in social media and other things, and then if we also get news from the teams, especially those who share, that would be nice. I would be happy to hear what does Sundowns say, confirming or not confirming the issue of Flemingbeck. Is he on his way out, or what's going to happen? All right. Yeah. So those are the stories. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for commenting. My question is very simple. Has Pirates handed over the league to Mamelodi Sundowns? Have they handed the cup on a silver platter for Mamelodi Sundowns by playing draw last night? So that's your take. It's up to you. You tell me what's your take. So thank you so much. I really appreciate, much appreciate. I thank you. Hello, everyone. We are back. My name is the Sobri Boy Swale Fatsi from TBR, which simply means the Big R Solutions. Here I'm representing the company called the Big R Financial Service Provider, Financial Services, which is an authorized and registered service provider. Our license number is FSP 47430. I'm talking to all government employees, age 55 and above, who are already thinking of exiting the system. They either want to go on pension or they want to resign. Two things that comes to mind. How do I save? How do I save on penalties? How do I ensure that the tax is not so huge? What can I do to make sure that I achieve those goals? Now, if you want to know how to achieve those goals, come to us, drop us a WhatsApp, we'll call you. The WhatsApp number is very simple. It's 067 915 1447. 067 915 1447. Drop us a WhatsApp. Don't call, but drop us a WhatsApp. And then we are working together with Allan Gray on this product, on this project. So Allan Gray is our product supplier. So we assist people using that product supply. So it's up to you to give us a shout or drop us a WhatsApp. We'll therefore come back to you. I thank you.
Kgotsong, ke le tsebisa ka buka ya ka e buang ka tsela yeo ke tsamaileng bophelong ba ka. Le tla utlwa ka mathata ao ke bileng le ona le katleho yeo ke e fihletseng. Hape le hore radio e nkahile jwang hore ke fetole bophelo ba ka. Takatso ya ka ke hore o fumane buka ena ya ka e tla fetola bophelo ba hao. Ya buang ke Dr. Chomani Chomani. Take it easy.